So right now, before I even go into the whole debate of how Premiership team performed in the UCL, I'd first like to emphasize the fact that the best team in England is presently not playing EPL. The best team in England is presently not playing the UCL, and that is no other team than Manchester United. We are presently the best team in England, and everyone knows we are not playing the UCL at this present moment. So for all the glamour, all the fuss, all the debates, all the shouting about how its EPL's team standards has dropped, they should know that the best team in England is presently not playing the EPL. Because if we're playing the EPL, what are we scared of? We scored Bayern in 99 before. They are not our mates. We scored Barcelona just a few seasons ago in the Europa League. They are not our mates. We scored PSG. PSG are like our whipping boys. We whoop them every single moment we get. They are not our mates. So those are like the major teams. Those are the teams. And with Madrid, it can always be dicey. But obviously they will still have an issue playing against us, playing against a certain Magnifico in Bruno Fernandes, playing against a certain wonderful Brazilian in Mateus Cunha, and playing against a certain Ahmad. So it was always going to be an issue, and the best team present is not in the UCL. So people can fuss about saying English teams didn't do well in the knockout stage, but obviously the best team is missing out in the UCL. But if we look at the results, I saw in the French league, PSG literally didn't play over the weekend. The French league gave them a whole rest so they could prepare for Chelsea. Even after they were leading, they had like a good advantage. They gave them a rest. But when it comes to the APL, you wouldn't have that favor. Who wants to give you a favor of not playing the weekend so you can do well during the midweek in the Champions League? No one will give you that. We have all those other clubs, all those other teams having rest. Their league are actually giving them breaks so they can prepare for the Champions League. But we don't have that in the APL. The teams in the APL have to play midweek, play weekend, play midweek, play weekend. So they are in most cases exhausted when it gets towards the knockout stage, and that was why we found a lot of them found it so hard to compete with teams like that, teams that felt a little bit fresher during the knockout stage. If it was a different time, it would have been totally different. We know previous seasons when the EPL format and when the Champions League format was in this way, when you didn't have to play whole league table. We saw how many teams we had: EPL semi-finals, EPL finals, numerous cases. We had that, and you can't tell me the EPL teams were not doing well. They were doing well because the schedule was not as cumbersome as it is right now. Right now, it's not favoring the EPL teams, and we know the EPL, the English FA, the league wouldn't want to like prioritize one of the Champions League team over just the league team, because we know how we prioritize the league. So because of that, a lot of these teams that played against the EPL team had enough rest. They had enough rest, and they used that advantage to score the EPL teams. And they are saying the EPL teams did that. Look at the game against Barca yesterday. Newcastle could have had a penalty with Anthony Elanga. That penalty was not given. You go around the other end, and that penalty was given to Barcelona, and they come into the second half, and we know how Newcastle have been exhausted over the last few weeks, playing midweek, weekend, playing midweek, playing weekend. They were exhausted, and Barcelona took the advantage and scored all those goals, and it feels like the EPL teams were bad. If you take the random schedule of an EPL team and you give it to that of those other teams in other European countries, they can't compete. They absolutely can't compete. They don't have the physique, they don't have the physicality, they don't have the ability, they don't have the players, they don't have the resources to compete with the number of fixtures the APL teams have to play. So because of that, right now they are saying those teams are better than the APL. The APL has been exposed. Next season we'll see. Next season, when the best team in England comes to the Champions League, you'll see what we'll do. You'll see how it will play out, because right now we just leave them. We still have two representatives in Liverpool and Arsenal, obviously. So let's see how those teams will go. Let's see how they will get the results. Obviously, we know we are probably going to have an EPL team in the final, but let's see how it goes, because right now people are blabbing their mouths, yabbing. The EPL team have lost standard. EPL teams have lost standard, but it's just the fatigue. We all know the reasons, but we won't want to admit it. The EPL is still the best league in the world, and we've showed it countless times. We even showed it this season, and we'll show it next season, and we'll keep showing it that it is the best league in the world.